Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shoulder Tap. I am Jack, joined by Brett. We're pushing close to new highs, or a little bit off of them in the NQs right now, but we're here right now to talk about our funded traders. Brett, what up?
Not much. Good to be back on. And man, we've had some volatility lately, and with that volatility, we've had some big winners, some traders that have lost some money on their trades, and definitely a lot of requests to the risk team. I know we had a couple traders yesterday that were up significantly early. One of them, with the flurry of activity, we saw them up over $60,000 in their account, and ultimately, in a very short time frame, they unfortunately hit the daily loss limit, which really is somewhat inexcusable for any trader to
So,
be doing. Go ahead.
Brett, I've been dying to know more about this, and we won't name the trader. It's not someone who's on TV. It's not. It wasn't Dakota. It wasn't anyone like that. Um, but I would love to hear if you saw it more about. Did they just? I presume they were short and then stayed short? Was it one position, or did they close and get flat at some point, or they just kind of ride it all the way back
It
from
was a
whence it
few
came?
positions. It was a few different trades that ultimately cost them that what should have been a phenomenal day, even if they did have some losses, which is part of the reason that on the risk team we do encourage users to limit their size when you're having a banner day like this trader was. Um, Ultimately, it took about a minute and a half to lose a significant portion of that over $60,000 in live account profits. And unfortunately, with the equities moving the way they did yesterday, it wasn't something that the risk team was able to get in front of and stop before that daily loss limit was hit. The good news, or I guess silver lining, is it was limited to the daily loss limit of 3,000, but it's really tough on just to sit to watch and see somebody have such a great day and turn it into a losing day. I mean, that's almost worse than just having your first trade go against you and hitting the daily loss limit. But I mean, in speaking about the daily loss limit, the risk team has been getting a lot of requests to have their users' daily loss limits increased, and oftentimes we had gotten one from a user earlier today, and they have two profitable days in their live account, and every single other day they've lost $3,000 over the course of, I believe it's 12 days that they've been trading the live account. And quite honestly, they wouldn't even have the live account or those profitable days if they had an expanded loss limit, because they would have already gone to zero in all likelihood. Um, the time to change your daily loss limit is in a any account, live funded or XFA, is when you're really not using it. um, that's when you want to explore your daily loss limit expansion and maybe consider increasing it. Oftentimes, we find that it's not the best move for any user to increase a daily loss limit. I know there are a lot of different trading styles, but it we're trading for tomorrow, and increasing today's losses does not allow for longevity in the account, especially when you're hitting it more than 70 or 80% of the trading days.
So I'm mentioning that a 3K DLL simply isn't enough room with these increasing ranges. It's the same amount of money. That just means you're trading too much size, man.
Yeah. And that's the way to limit the risk, is limit the size. And I mean, if you're hitting it too quickly, yeah, you got to sit on the bench for the rest of the day. And like I said, talking about increasing the daily loss limit should take place when you're consistently profitable. And I mean, one of the traders I'm going to talk about today, they've also hit their daily loss limit quite a bit, but they've had some banner days to say the least.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'll say too. Like at a professional prop shop, this is never something that happens. Uh, Volatility has gone through the roof. Thus, we are increasing all of your daily loss limits or how much that just doesn't happen. If anything, it's the opposite. Your limit will stay the same or they'll cut it because there's too much volatility. But
yeah,
yeah, with that, Brett, sorry to interrupt you there. Um, where do you want to start this journey?
yeah, we'll get. I want to discuss Josh shortly, but as far as the daily loss limits in the live accounts, the risk team does require a total of $10,000 in profits and at least 5 winning days in the live account before a request to expand those limits will be considered. And oftentimes we speak with the users and tell them, hey, this might not be something that you want to do because you're making money right now. Why, if it's not broke, there's no need to fix it or make changes to it. But anyway, enough about that. We can jump into the trading cards and talk about Joshua D. And Joshua D is in a 150K XFA. The decision was made on Friday to call them up to a live funded account. And one thing that really stands out to me with Joshua's trading is the hold times, 39-minute winners and 9-minute losers, getting out of trades, and they're trading small. They started out initially trading this XFA as a in the mini Nasdaq, and they have switched almost entirely to the micro product. And I don't know if you've selected the micro contract, as that's where most of the activity has taken place, Jack.
I'll
But
select it now.
July, yeah, take a look at that July 22nd trade date because it's amazing. I mean, it shows that you just because it's a micro contract doesn't mean that it can't equal big gains or big losses for that matter. But on July 22nd, with just two trades, Joshua was able to make over $4,000 in this live account, or I'm sorry, in the XFA trading the micro NASDAQ.
Very nice. And looks like just $14.80 in commissions to do it. That is a clean day.
Yeah. So love to see it. So you may notice that with Joshua's trading, the contract volumes are somewhat on the high side, or at least what the risk team would consider high contract volumes. But when you do factor in that it's the micro contract, they really aren't. That's 10 micros equals one mini. And so really risk averse and excited to get them into a live account. And no need to get away from the micro Nasdaq really.
I agree. I will say that on a lot of these days, I wish I could talk to Joshua to see exactly what he's doing because I think micros are awesome to trade, especially now. Like we were saying, if an NQ is too much to blow out your loss limit, well, there's tenths of that available. And when the market's moving this much, that commission is not going to hurt you. I do see it on these days, which is a little curious, is that it looks like he's trading in increments of 10 micros and getting out, right? Uh, if that is your intention, maybe then just trade. There's no difference if you just trade the full contract, if you just plan on taking it all off in 10 lots. But this is great performance overall. Love that only one daily loss limit hit in this account that I can see.
Yeah. And with an average losing day of less than $1,600, really doing a great job of limiting those losses. And the trade times show that they get out of losing trades quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good discipline on that 4K day too. It was 2 winning trades of, $2,020 each. So,
Yeah,
my guess is just judging from how the losses are controlled here is that what's his winning trade percentage? 54? I bet you he's looking for, like, 2 to 1 trades and sticking pretty consistent to it.
yeah, and actually his average win-loss per trade is his reward over risk is greater than 2.5 to 1. So he's they're making $626 on the average winner and losing just 244 on the average loser, which with a 54% winning trade, um, just killing it, really.
Yeah, no, this is a great card. Keep trading those micros, especially now. Just a small thing about that commission thing. If you're gonna trade, like, I get a little nervous when people start trading like 60 micros and then taking them all off. But Joshua's doing great. Spokane looks beautiful. And yeah, who else we got here?
Yeah, next user I wanted to mention is Chung.
Oh
Um,
boy, here
sounds
he
like you
is.
may be familiar.
Number one
I
on the
am.
In
leaderboard today.
Indeed, yeah, and let me bring up his card. I think that average daily P&L has an errant negative sign that I overlooked, but
Oh yeah,
it
he's
should
very
be
positive.
average daily P&L should be positive 39.59. But really, kind of the opposite of what we saw with Joshua's trading card, in that just 24% winning days, 28% winning trades, but that reward over risk at about 3 to 1 is really serving Chung very well. Um, as is the daily loss limit serving Chung quite well because again, without that, we might have a different story or even a gravestone on this indicating that they maybe lost the account. But Chung is a home run hitter all day, it looks like, and that's all that they try to do, which it's working after what is 17 days in this live account. They did hit the daily loss limit today, but really limiting their trades, doing just 2 contracts per trade, which the risk team loves to see, and really stays in these profitable trades and lets them continue to work, enabling them to get that reward over risk to a 3 to 1 ratio.
So yeah, he must be. I mean, I would presume 2 contracts per trade, but he must be scaling into some larger positions, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's something that we've talked about before. We've seen a lot of people with the home run hitting that are just all in, all out. He's using 2 lots to get in. Uh, and I mean this in the nicest way. Chung is a menace, man. Like this, I am impressed by. So, how many days we got here? So, we talked about this a little bit on Fast Markets today. 17 days complete, 2 winning days in the account I'm looking at least. I'm looking at the live funded. And I presume it's like copied throughout it. So loss limit every one of the days except the two. One, and this is just one account, $41,400 winner, and then yesterday a $32,400 winner. Now we mentioned this on Fast Markets. I think it's very important that Chung, even if you're a wild stallion, man, you're still not eligible for a payout. Maybe just take a couple day sabbatical and just like put on one NQ each day with like a target for 200 bucks or something until you get there. Because if you got to take a payout at this point. The other thing is, whenever I see these home run hitters, what I was looking over there is I like to look at their big days and go back to the charts to see when they happen. And I get the impression that Chung is a bear. Two big down days, yesterday and July 17th, are when he had those huge days. And you know what? Some people may disagree with this style of trading, but 99.9% of people couldn't do this. Like losing every day and then, on the first big day he held for, where are you? July 17th. 6 hours he held that position. So, like, could you hold for 6 hours, watching this work out in your favor? It's impressive stuff. I just worry. I really wanna see him get eligible for a payout and take some of this out, because it does seem that he has a bias as a bear, and I guess the plus size, it takes a while to lose this money when you have a daily loss limit in place. Anything else you'd like to, throw out there, Brett?
Yeah. I mean, one thing that kind of jumped out to me looking at the intraday P&L high and lows is, first of all, you've had some great days where you've gone up close to or more than $5,000 only to go on and continue trading to hit the daily loss limit. It really shows the importance of having a trailing personal loss limit, especially when you do have a significant start to your day, or if you're able to, it's tough to do. We've been seeing it out of a lot of our traders, but having a good trade or a handful of them, and then just calling it a day. We're seeing that more and more out of a lot of the live traders uh, that we're doing the updates for, and it's great to see. I mean, we've got Brian P, who he made 4,150 by 8 o'clock this morning and hasn't made a trade since. Um, Jata made just over 4,000, hasn't traded since. And then we also have some traders that continue, like Powell, made 1,900 by 8 o'clock, 3,000 by 10, and just before I got on to shoulder tap, he's up $8,400. But it's important to have a trailing personal loss or personal profit target that, hey, make it 75%. If you're up $8,000 and you pull back to 6,000, call it a day. It's still a great day, but it's tough to watch any trader go up significantly and then only turn what could be a great day into a daily loss limit or anything other than profitable, really.
Okay. So it's 3 winning days in this live account, right? I missed another huge day. I just casually missed a $31,000 day that, they had. Um, and that was on an up day. What I'm seeing, if I had to guess, okay, let me check the 17th again. Do you know Chung, I know we can't talk too much about like like live traders do, but I'd be interested to see when they start getting these trades, because it seems like where they're making these huge days are days that have pretty solid, not wiki days, right? Like solid, picking a direction on the open and going with it and just adding and holding until the end, or maybe in yesterday's case, they got out because maybe they had to get out because of the live account stuff. But um, either way, very impressive determination here. Uh, Brett, I could talk about Chung all day, and I'm sure we'll talk about Chung more. Chung, if you're out there, we would love to talk to you, write poems about you. We'll talk about this more, but we only got like a minute or two left. Do you want to try and squeeze in this third card?
Yeah, we can talk about Carly for just a moment. Carly is in a 100K live funded account, and average daily P&L is in fact negative 436, and they've completed 12 trade days in this account. Um, One thing they're doing really well is locking in profits and stopping trading. Um, the other thing that kind of stands out to me about Carly's trading is it almost looks like they're trying to reach 1,000 in profits every day and have a lot of days where they've been up $500, which is a great living, or in some of our users' cases, supplemental income. But $500 a day is 125,000 a year if you're able to do it for an entire year. And even though it doesn't roll off the tongue quite as nicely as $1,000, it's still nothing to overlook and discount as being inadequate. Um, the one thing that I would mention to Carly is get out of your losing trades a little bit sooner and avoid reaching that daily loss limit with so few trades on the day. Um, it's okay to keep a winning trade on, but you know what? Take another stab at it if you get it wrong on the first one or second, and review it and see that the market is reaching your entry points and exit points, and again, personal loss limit or even personal trailing loss limit is so important. And Carly might benefit from restricting the personal loss limit a little bit further than what is set on the account of $2,000 in a day.
Yeah, it's a limit, not a suggestion here. I like that. Is it Carly? Carlos? Have you spoken to this person, Brett? I was trying to figure out what they're.
No, and I'm sorry, I have not.
Okay. Um. Yeah. I mean, I can just look at the live account stuff. They took a nice payout, $8,000, so that's nice. Um. I don't. Yeah. I don't know if the biggest day here is 2136. I don't know if doing that once. Well, I do know. I'm kind of asking a leading question. Is kind of like leaves the floodgate open to lose 2K. One, two, three, four times. That's probably not a recipe for success. Yeah. Same advice we give a lot of people. You got to cut down that daily loss limit for a while and see if you can still make the 2,000 with like a $1,000 limit or something like that,
Yeah,
or just a little
and
bit of money.
and and for this user, I mean, they started out a little bit rocky in the account initially, and they have departed from those regular daily loss limit hits. The first 4 days there were three loss limit hits, and since then, roughly 8 or 10 days, they've only really hit it two other times. So great job departing from that, and also great job stopping at your highs for the day. I see that on a few occasions, but it looks like it's always, for the most part, over $1,000 until you're willing to call a good day a good day.
Cool. Well, thanks for bringing this, Brett. Hope Mick's feeling better. We'll see him back soon, but always a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Pleasure.
All right, well, stick around. We got group coaching coming up just after this break, and it will be JD and Hogue back to do it again. We got Muhammad coming out with me and Andre at 1 o'clock. Whoop, whoop. And then we got in Power Hour Andre, Robert, Austin Silver, and Hogue Daddy, the what they call him, Iceberg Daddy, Daddy Ice. One of those Hogue personalities will be there, so stick around. We'll be back right after this.